Hello everyone and welcome to my official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before starting the video, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give this video a like up. Let's go start now. Bold and the Beautiful sees Nick Marone on his way back to Los Angeles for Brooke Logan, and they have a new storyline starting next month. We're going to talk about this new shot at romance that Nick and Brooke are going to get and what happens for them this time around. Nick Marone returns to B&B. Can he help Brooke move on from Ridge? Alright, so Nick is popping back up in a few weeks. Jack Wagner makes his debut in mid-June. And it looks like Nick might be the person who helps Brooke move on from Ridge Forrester, which would be great, right? Brooke has tried several times, many times over the past few months, to get Ridge to leave Taylor Hayes and come back to her. But every time, Ridge shoots Brooke down and reiterates he's committed to Taylor. He's keeping his word to her. So, Brooke might soon have no choice but to just give up and let Ridge go. But, of course, her heart will be broken. And kind of unfairly. I feel like Eric Forrester got Brooke all excited and reassured her that their stunt at the Forrester Creations fashion show was going to bring Ridge running back to her side and see him ditching Taylor. Bold and the Beautiful spoilers. Taylor and Brooke argue about Ridge. But as much as Ridge looked like it affected him when he saw Brooke there in the Portofino gown, he didn't budge on the Taylor thing. It almost to me felt like Ridge was looking at Brooke nostalgically, like she's an important part of Ridge's past, but not his future. And this week in spoilers, Taylor and Brooke argue again about Ridge and what happened at the fashion show. And I'm guessing things are going to get testy between them again. Taylor feels like Brooke was making another desperate move, like the one when she found her in the brass and panties going, "Oh, Ridge, I thought it was you." And then screamed because, it was not. And, she thinks Taylor shouldn't have been at the fashion show at all that day. Brooke may even have convinced herself that the plan she cooked up with Eric might have worked if Taylor had stayed away that day. Who knows? Maybe. Brooke's heartbreak. Nick Marone arrives to heal her pain. So with Ridge sticking with Taylor, at least for now, Brooke's devastated and she's feeling down and at a really low point when Nick arrives, according to the spoilers about Jack Wagner's appearance. So her ex might be just the person to help Brooke get over Ridge or at least heal Brooke's heart so she can move forward and get past what has happened with Ridge. A look back. Brooke and Nick's tumultuous B&B history. Back in the day, if you were watching, you saw Brooke go back and forth between Nick and Ridge a few times. And of course, Nick was also involved with some other Logan ladies, Brooke's sisters. And despite Ridge being in the mix and some of her sisters being in the mix, Brooke and Nick had something special. And they found their way back to each other many times until Nick dropped off the character canvas and Jack Wagner left Bold and the Beautiful once and for all. A new chapter for Brooke and Nick? Why this time is different. So, with this huge return, it seems Nick and Brooke are going to get another chance at their love story. With Ridge out of the picture, there is no telling how it could go between Nick and Brooke. It could be magic and fireworks, which would be great. And for sure, with Nick and Brooke, this time around, the circumstances are really different. So, a lot of the problems they faced back in the day that pulled them apart just really aren't an issue anymore. And longtime watchers might remember that even though Brooke and Nick were crazy about each other, there was a lot of love there. There also were these big obstacles that got in the way time and again. Bold and the Beautiful. Nick let Brooke go. And the first time that she and Nick split up was because Brooke was pregnant. She wasn't sure if the baby was Nick or Ridge's kid. And a paternity test said the baby was Nick's, but it turned out his mom, Jackie, rigged the test so it would say that it was her grandkid. But the baby was really Ridge's. And when the truth came out, that's when Nick let Brooke go. Also, Nick had gotten involved with Brooke's daughter, Bridget Forrester, at one point, more than one point. Nick and Bridget tried to get married twice, but there was always a catastrophe, and they finally made it the third time to I do. But Nick still couldn't get over her mom, Brooke. Awkward, right? It got so bad that Nick even hallucinated Brooke. But instead of getting with Nick, we saw Brooke wind up remarrying Ridge. Meanwhile, Nick went back to Bridget again. After that, Nick and Brooke eventually got back together. They even got married. But then Donna Logan, Stephanie Forrester, Susan Flannery had pushed his mom, Jackie, over a balcony. Bold and the Beautiful. Ridge stays with Taylor? So he flipped out, forced Eric to sign over Forrester Creations to him. He made Jackie the president of FC. Donna was like the head model, and because of all that, Brooke turned around and she divorced Nick. So yeah, Brooke and Nick did have their problems, but the things that happened back then are not likely going to happen now. Stephanie's gone. Jackie is not in the picture. Everybody's a lot older. They're more mature. Brooke's not with Ridge. She is not going to turn up pregnant at this point. Plus, Ridge actually seems like he is going to stick with Taylor. So he's not in the way. Bridget's rarely seen. So a lot of these obstacles, just for various reasons, are not in place, are not possible. What to expect from Nick's return? Flashbacks and healing for Brooke. So it would be wonderful to see Nick get a chance to re-spark with Brooke. We're going to see that. I'm also guessing we're going to get a trip down memory lane with tons and tons of flashbacks. So if you were not watching back when Jack Wagner was on B&B, I'm betting you're going to get to see a whole lot of that vintage footage soon. Plus, Nick is going to offer some much-needed romance for Brooke and reassurance that she's beautiful, she's sexy, she's unforgettable, she's always been in his heart, and that may be very healing for her after Ridge's repeat rejection over the past couple of months. Nick's return is temporary. No happily ever after for Brooke and Nick. But unfortunately, in case you didn't know, Jack Wagner is not back to playing Nick long-term unless something drastic changes. He's got to go film the latest season of When Calls the Heart, so he can't stay around forever. So I suspect once Nick helps heal Brooke's broken heart, he may have to leave. Nick does arrive when Brooke is at a low point in her life, but unfortunately, it doesn't look like this is going to be a happily ever after thing. But Nick might make Brooke happier than she's been in quite a while and leave her healed and whole and ready to move on. Brooke's future beyond Ridge. Could Dollar Bill be her next love? There's a chance after Nick goes, Ridge may circle back around to Brooke because Ridge has always been so jealous of his brother Nick. But there's always a chance after Nick leaves that Bold and the Beautiful could swerve away from destiny and be adventurous and pair Brooke with Bill Spencer Don Diamond again. A lot of fans would prefer that. I'd prefer it. Brooke's time with Nick might even make her realize that she can be happy without Ridge and may well be happier without him than with him. So Brooke might be more open to a relationship with Bill or even somebody else entirely. Even if Ridge does end up asking Brooke, she may decide against it after her reunion with Nick. Well, I think it'd be great to see Brooke as a brand new woman who has moved on from Ridge and that whole toxic past that they have. I personally think that would be a refreshing change of pace, but we'll see how it goes.